Hello, happy Friday, and more importantly, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Welcome to this week's new episode of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your sole host, at least for now. Welcome, everybody. It is going to be a magnificent weekend for gaming. Well, why? Well, Avowed is out. It's scoring really well. People are super excited, and it's a holiday weekend, which means that you get to spend more time playing this amazing RPG from one of the best in the business in Obsidian. When they were purchased in 2018, a lot of people, we knew what they've done in the past. And I got to tell you, I've heard a lot of people specifically talk about this. More importantly, Paris Lilly of Gamertag Radio and, of course, Kind of Funny Games. He gave the a 9.5 out of 10 yesterday during their stream. I've already, my score is a 9.5 out of 10. We agree. Danny Benya, of course, his partner in crime, could not stop gushing about this game. And folks, the truth of the matter is there is a lot to really like about this new RPG. And look, I'm going to get into it. I have a lot to say, especially as someone who does not have a familiar tone or understanding of the living lands that other people who've played Pillars of Eternity have, and they've made it accessible even for newbies like me. But as we wait for Infinite Umbra, who's going to join us, and of course, Fuzzy Belvedere will be here, we might actually get a chance to have Paris Lilly jump on for 10 or 15 minutes to kind of do a more elaborate explanation of to why he loves this game. But I want to welcome everybody here. We got already 101 people here. That is absolutely astounding. I thank you so much for taking the time to check out Double Barrel Gaming. That is going to be our opening story. It's going to be Avowed. We're going to spend a significant amount of conversation there. Because again, folks, I really do believe there is a lot to love about this game, aside from the console war shenanigans that you have seen already. Just we're not, what? I want to wait for the guys. And here is one of them right now. The best bald head in the business. Here he is, Fuzzy Belvedere. Good morning, kind sir. Happy Valentine's Day to you, the missus, the kids, and everybody at home. How you feeling on this grand Friday morning?
Well, good morning. Glad to be here. Man, I've only had about maybe a couple of hours into the game, and I that's part of the reason why I'm late. So I do apologize. But this Avowed is it's stacking up to be a pretty good RPG. So yeah, I'm the only small gripe is in third person accessing stuff or grabbing stuff versus first person. But I'll get used to like the contact points and things like that. But other than that, doing great. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody here. Man, we're going to have a good weekend.
We are going to have a good weekend, and we're going to have an even better show because not only do we have you, we have Infinite Umbra and Umbra. What did I tell you, brother? When we were talking in the backgrounds, what did I say? I said that this was an Umbra-ass Umbra game. And if it's an Umbra-ass Umbra game, that means it's a boom-ass boom type of game. And I know that you've been here, there, and everywhere. You literally have officially taken on the challenge to finding everything in this game, because obviously Carrie Patel talked about it, and she said that, and a couple of people have said you're not going to get a chance. Some people may or may not be able to see everything in one playthrough. I think that you might actually take on that challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge I'm definitely taking. I was talking about this with some people the other day. You start seeing some of the reviews and you're like, man, is it really that bad? And I had my boy Rand. He was like, I didn't like it initially, but I do write Rand off sometimes, so his tastes vary. Shout out to my Chicago brother, but yeah. But I was immediately hooked, man. I played it and immediately I felt like, no, this is right.
From the moment off the ship, I knew this was for me. I know that's going to sound nerdy. I know that's going to be like, oh, this guy is just bootlicking.
Just for me. But you guys start singing the vocals.
Check this out, though.
It's dope.
Was I right when I compared it to Oblivion?
It does have some Oblivion-esque
flavor, if you will.
It does have a bit of that. I can sense that. it definitely gives a bit of that sense. I mean, you're not coming out of a cave, right? Like you would on Oblivion, getting that wow moment, but you are waking up to that. And just how much time do I have to praise Unreal? Because I'll be here all day doing it. I got this stuff on Ultra. It's looking gorgeous on my LG.
I bet.
HDR is popping. I mean, it's beautiful, man. I we'll get to it, I'm sure, in a second, but I'm liking it a lot.
Well, listen, we are going to open up with that. And of course, joining us here, it just so happens that the second topic of the day is going to involve PlayStation, and not so much in a negative way, but of course, we have joining us BitCloud Gaming, who has been on a video tear for his channel. BitCloud, brother, you've been schooling people left, right, and center. And as a PlayStation fan, not a fanboy, but an actual fan who has racked up more platinums than most of these trolls combined, you've had some things to say about PlayStation's, well, kind of business lately. And second topic of the day is going to be right up your alley, because Jez Corden of Windows Central, one half of the Xbox 2 podcast, put out a tweet the other day that was pretty interesting, and he wrote a story on it. And we're going to read that story verbatim. Basically, the story goes, Microsoft might legit publish more games on PlayStation 5 this year than Sony does. And of course, gamers react to the PlayStation state of play and the strange times Xbox finds itself in. How you feeling, BitCloud? Happy Valentine's Day to you and the fam. Glad to know that your aunt is doing better. Great to share that with the community. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm feeling good, man. Thanks for having me. Shout out to you, the panel. Today is a very special day. My niece has her gender reveal for her baby. So
that is so freaking awesome, dude. I love stuff like that. So the family's gonna be there, and of what better day than Valentine's Day? That is awesome.
Yeah, so life goes on. They say life goes on, but they say life goes on, yet I feel older. Every single day, man. It is what it is. That's what happens. But no, like you said, it's been very I want to say it's been very eventful in a sense, in terms of certain topics, that have been worth talking about. But we'll talk about it obviously, but it's just kind of weird, this fake double standard people have as it is. But we'll get into that as it is.
We do have a particular point of contention that I want to use for that conversation. But listen, we're going to open up the show with positivity. It's something that we love doing here at Double Barrel Gaming. And the game in front of you is an astounding game. I am now rolling into near 60 hours. I have just hit level 20. I know that Randall Thor beat it in 50 plus hours. He got to level 28. I didn't know there was a level, there was no level cap. I still don't know if there is a cap at some point. I know that I am, since level 13, been casting level 20 spells, because I went from, being predominantly a warrior to being like, wait a second, this wizard shit is where I need to be in life. And now I have poured all of my points into it, and I am wrecking dudes, and it is great. And I'm going to say this. You heard me talk about this yesterday during my review. The switching gear sets has to become the new standard in RPGs moving forward. I'm going to say this, and this is not to flame a war between Bethesda and Obsidian, but I got to tell you, I think Bethesda could learn a lot from Avowed, especially in the way you can switch and change all of who you are as a character on the fly. Like literally,
it is to learn a lot just off the facial animations.
Well, there is that too. I mean, look, folks, you got to remember what you're seeing, and I'm watching it. It looks great. I know I'm going to check it out on YouTube. It looked fine. This is 1080p. Now, I played. There are 3 modes. There is 30. There is 60. They're both fine in their own ways. But the mode that I played on was the one in the middle, and that was the one with 40 FPS. that gave me ray tracing, that gave me VRR. My TV unlocked the frames. It was phenomenal. What an experience from start to finish. And I haven't finished yet. But Fuzzy Belvedere, I've talked enough. I have already spent over 2 hours yesterday talking about it. Somehow or another, I was able to go for 53 minutes as an old man. Pause. I guess those pills are working.
I'm going over there stroking. I see
yeah,
you,
man. I mean, I was going. I was sweating. So I got 53 minutes of being a solo podcaster. And listen, we talked about it. We had fun with it. I was all over the place because I was excited. I know there's some trolls out there like, and look at this fake excitement.
You like that Kobe meme or no, the Vince Carter meme. I still got some more in me.
I got some more in me. There you go.
Yeah.
I love it. So look, Fuzzy Belvedere, let's talk up Avowed. Again, I understand, and that's a great point. I'm glad a lot of people haven't talked about it. Is that there is a third-person mode. I have only used it about 5% of the time. Mm-hmm. There is a mechanic for grabbing that needs tweaking. There's no doubt about it. In first person, it works perfect.
Yeah.
In third person, you kind of got to angle your character a little bit to get what you're picking up, and that becomes a bit of a kind of a pain in the rear. That is one of, again, I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. There's a reason why there was a half a point shaved off. That's certainly one of them. I didn't make mention of it because it just went over my head, and it was so really not a big deal. But that's one of the points for me that kind of shaved off the half point. But I want to get your thoughts so far because again, I know if you only had a couple of hours into it. For me, the minute I started, and I have to say this to be clear, and of course I love being transparent. From Inception trailer, I was like, yes, I'm in. This is an Obsidian joint. They got backing from Microsoft. They are first party. They're going to have carte blanche to really hone their skills. And they have delivered in spades. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Where can I start? For an RPG fanatic, I love the fact that they have the map littered, like the little mini map littered with things that you can actually pick up. Like a lot of times, without it giving it away, and right now I just have it on the normal mode. I'm pretty sure if you put it on harder difficulty, they'll probably start taking away things like the food and potion stuff that you can, or the ingredients for potions that you can pick up. But I like having that on the map. And then on occasion, you'll see like what looks like a lava drop, I guess is about the best way to put it. And it allows you to find some of the hidden rooms or hidden things. So the way they've set this game up makes it so, one, it rewards exploration. Like you're going to want to look around every corner. If you think you can climb there, or if you think you can get to a certain point, there's probably something there that's worthwhile, whether it's armor, a special ingredient for a potion, or maybe there's a hidden passage or something along those lines, which that's the thing I love about this game. It's that you can pretty much go anywhere that it looks like there's some sort of traversal to get there without it being marked in yellow or highlighted in yellow and stuff like that. The combat takes a little bit in getting used to, especially if you're used to dual wielding versus like having a single weapon and shield type of deal. But for the most part, you can pretty much like slash your way through, although you're going to have to defend. You're going to have to look for the markers of the enemies getting ready to attack. And if you have like a companion with you, use them as kind of like the go-between, like get your companion and yourself, like get the enemy in between you. So that way, when they're defending against you, your companion can stab them in the back kind of thing. And then vice versa. When they go to attack your companion, you can stab them in the back without their shield really shielding them and stuff. Now, I'm pretty sure as I progress, they'll probably have it where there's armor on the back or something like that. They'll help protect them. But just in the beginning phases, I'm loving the exploration. I'm loving the combat. Like the only small complaint was the interaction as far as picking stuff up. But as I, like when you look at the crosshairs and you just get the crosshairs on it, angle it that way, you'll be able to pick things up easier. I know first person, it's not even an issue, but I wanted to try it in third person for a bit just to see, you know, like it gives you, I guess, a wider range as far as visibility. And I haven't looked through all the options as far as like your was it range that you can set it to or anything like that when in first person. But like I'm loving this game so far, and it's only a couple of hours in. Gotten a couple of gear upgrades. Haven't found a better weapon yet, but still pressing through on that with the one spear that you find on the beach, and then there's a sword that you can get through a secret passage kind of thing. But yeah, this game is great in the early stages. I'm pretty sure I'll be cursing at things as I get further along, as the enemies get a little bit more difficult and stuff like that. But I'm waiting until I get to the magic part to really see how this shines, because that's probably where I'm going to be switching between first and third person more so. But early impressions, couple of hours in, this is definitely, if you're a subscriber to Game Pass, I would say so far this is probably worth the upgrade. If you're patient, by all means, look forward to it. I guess it's next Thursday for the main release, or maybe it's Tuesday or so.
I think it's Tuesday. It was a 5-day early access.
Yeah, but I think it's worth the $22 upgrade. You get a little bit better armor, or at least the transmog type stuff, which that's another thing. A lot of games don't necessarily offer transmog, where sometimes you're stuck with like better armor that looks like crap in comparison to cool armor that you may have picked up earlier, but you can, you know, switch that around as far as using the look of another armor.
Yes, by pressing a button, you can do that. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you can even do that with like your godlike appearance and things like that. You don't have to have it visible. I mean, the NPCs will still respond to you in certain ways, but I just love the creativity part of the character creator. At first I thought, oh, they only have like, was it 20 preset ones, and then you can go in further and change all of that stuff, the complexion, the amount of the, I guess, scarring and different godlike features, whether it's in your hair or on your face and stuff like that. But early impressions, this is well worth it. I'm glad they took the extra time to polish it. I'm assuming a patch will probably, you know, work with the interaction thing as far as for the third person. But other than that, so far, I'm pretty ecstatic, and I'll probably be spending all weekend playing this. But yeah, it's definitely worthwhile playing this game.
And you know something, it comes in a week where, and that's why I think that was specifically set up this way, right? In the week that you get the Avowed early access release. And look, people asked me, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, folks. I'm just not. And I said it yesterday during my review stream. If we had the financial means, Mrs. Boom and I would have literally said, hey, listen, send me your email, and all 300 people that were watching, we would have bought you to early access. Unfortunately, we have limitations for a lot of reasons. We try to give as much away as we've done, and we do a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that people don't know about, which that's, you know, what we do. But I would say that if you take me at my word, just based on what you've seen so far, non-console war-related conversation, if you're just, let's just talk about the game in front of us, what we've experienced, what we've played, what you've heard actual people who are fans of RPGs, of open world RPGs, and more specifically, Obsidian RPGs are loving this game. Not console warring shenanigans, but Infinite Umbra. I know you have an infinite amount of things to say. I want to get your hot take, because you, again, have taken on the challenge of, I am going to find everything. I would imagine this is going to be a 100-hour RPG for you. And I've said this yesterday during the review stream. I said it when I was hanging out with C Money, as we do on Thursdays at noon. The more that you personally put into Avowed, the more you are going to be rewarded by the game. And it's evident almost instantly when you start the game. What are your thoughts so far, brother?
Okay, so I got a few things on my mind. Rick L, yes, Caius Garrus, that's his voice actor.
Yes, it is. Yep.
And
Mass Effect.
You can immediately tell when you get to him too. You're like, hey.
I know that voice.
What are you doing in this universe? But I'm like, hey, that's Mass Effect. But listen, I'm going to say this. For one, I was watching your gameplay, and I got to say, I have not gotten to the point where I got all the stuff you got. And I'm like, does he have a magical light spear?
I
Was
do.
that what you had?
Yes,
That's so instantly jealous. Like, hold on, how do you?
That is, you'll find that's one the Gilmore. It's the one with it's a Book of Lightning. So you get
okay.
You'll find that it'll have range, and it has this one. I have the spear maxed out.
Man,
it is amazing.
I saw you stabbing the hell out those bears. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, you know the old saying, they like you in the forest with a man or a bear. Which you choosing, the man or the bear? I'm like, if it's Boom with this light spear right here, I might choose to fight the bear, because you were stabbing the hell out of them things.
You'll see in a second. I'm not sure if it's this particular in front of this scene in front of us. There is a super move with it where you impale them, right? Then
once you break their
you impale them, and then he kicks them like he's like a Sparta kick. Ah, it's so good, dude.
Exactly, Black John. Help the bear. Because
hey man, at least I didn't screw a bear like in some other games. So there's that.
Lord. If this was BG3, you'd probably be mounting it after you finish stabbing it.
I'm a little froggy today, so I'm gonna leap, folks. I'm gonna leap.
I see you excited, man, popping peels and hopping on bears' back. I see you. Listen, I gotta
ride that bear, boys.
No comment.
Y'all got any comment, Big Cloud?
Oh my god!
Nah, done.
But listen, I gotta say, man, just seeing all of this and seeing other people's gameplay and images they've captured and such, I am blown away by everything I'm seeing. The combat is real diverse. It allows for a lot. I do agree with you 100% on Obsidian. Or excuse me, should I say Bethesda possibly learning some things from how Obsidian is handling it. I like the way you can switch between two sets of combat options with the press of Y by setting up your strong hand, your dominant hand, and your off hand. It is
so amazing. And again, when you set up your gear, because what's going to happen, what at least happened with me, is you're going to try out different weapons. Some are going to work for you. Some are not going to work for you. I went from, again, I was predominantly a warrior where I had two different sets. And that's the other thing. I said it during the stream, and I'm sorry to derail your thoughts, but
no, you're good.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, take the time to look for things, because the gear is so randomized and so different. I have a shield that during the day when it's equipped continuously raises my health. My health never goes down. And at night, it raises my magic. It's called the Shield of Night and Day. And I just found it, just happened to be, oh, look, I can climb to this tower. I parkoured up a bit, and I found it. I'm like, holy shit, this is a freaking amazing. And the randomness of what you can find in the world. And again, I talked about it yesterday. I happened to come across a group of soldiers that were just chilling, right? They were camped out. And one of which was a lieutenant. And he says, listen, our commander died in battle, and we never recovered his sword. If you find it, I want you to keep it, because what you've done for such and such particular situation, which I won't mention, we want his honor to continue. I found that sword, and holy shit, it is amazing.
Oh, this man,
this is what I'm talking about. Please continue, sir. I'm sorry to derail you.
Oh no, you listen. I love the excitement like that. I seen some of the sword. I don't know if you all remember, they had like early images that leaked way back of Avowed, and you had that sword with all the runes on it and stuff like that. That's the stuff I want.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to venture out and explore. That's the thing too. That's the thing that I got immediately just from the time I put in. I got about 2 hours and some such in it, right? From the character creation and such. I would say the character creation is somewhat limited, but then you get into the faces, and you can do much more with that area than you can like with the body types. I would wish for them to kind of expand on that, maybe do some, I guess add it later or something if they could, but or maybe in a sequel, I guess, whatever. But other than that, the godlike stuff, I turned that nonsense off immediately. I don't want all that stuff on my face looking like one of the what are those things they call them on the cordyceps in Last of Us.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what they
Yeah,
kind of look
the
like.
clickers.
The
I'm like, I don't,
Yeah, the clicker.
yeah, thank you. I'm like the clicker. I don't want to look at no damn clicker. I don't want to look cool. I made my black warrior. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna go out there like that with some shells on my face and stuff. And nah, I want the honeys running from me. And it's funny because you got the option, so you can leave it on or you can, opt to turn it off visually. But the people will still react to you saying like, oh, that's on your face. I'm like, ain't nothing on my face, but I'm pretty. What you talking about, girl? Ain't nothing on my face. This is handsomeness. So, but I do like that. And when I get into a good character creator in a game, man, I get stuck. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'll be there for an hour or so making my character just the way I want them. So I like that. And I like you get to pick like kind of 5 or 6 presets, I think, from like the court augur and all that type of stuff, the warrior and all those different things that go into it. But you're not stuck to that. So as you were saying, you started off kind of the warrior, and now look at you, you're a super mage. I'm seeing it on the screen. So you can easily switch, and you can respec as any good RPG would have you do. Cost, of course, but you can respec and put your skill points into other things. It's really cool in that way. And I like that you can use the wand, and you can also use the grimoire to do what you need to do. I'm getting that light spear. I'm telling you that right now.
That guy was running. You see, he was and I cornered him. I was like, "Where you going, sucker?"
Where you think you going? Stabbing the hell out of that man. You owe you some money. But so I do love the one thing I'll talk about with the combat is that what's engaging about it is that it's not some simple I'm just going to run up and hit you thing, right? Because you have to balance your stamina. So if you keep swinging like that,
you will get out of breath.
You'll get out of breath, and they'll knock the hell out of you. I had that one lizard king thing. It was like a king of the lizards. It had the armor and the shield, much like what Fuzzy was talking about. And yeah, they were some of the companion, the blue guy. He looked like a
guy. Yeah,
he looked like Beast on Ozempic. Then he looked like Beast with Ozempic. He's super skinny. I'm like, what happened? You malnourished, Beast. But he, as I'm fighting him, he's stabbing him in the back, and I'm stabbing him. And he turns around to get to him. I'm like, yeah, my turn, stab. And so I'm like, yeah, yeah. So we were just confusing him. But eventually I kept doing it and I tired out. He turned around and bashed that shield and knocked me back like, and bow, knocked me back. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to balance that because I wasn't quite paying attention. And you all can see it there on the screen now, that white meter. And so I'm just like swinging away like, yeah, die. And then he just, bow, get back. And so you have to balance that out. So I like that you have this kind of an ebb and flow on how that works, right? And you, like I said, the way they styled it, where you could press Y to swap, you can, put a bow and arrow into the other slot, for instance, which takes up 2 slots. Swap that out to, get a distance or range. Or I'm going to guess most people would going to get something like the grimoire, the wand, or maybe the pistols. Some people I've heard are going to do the double pistol thing and go out there, with the double flintlocks. So that's cool too. And it's just a lot of options in combat builds that you can do, which is a good thing in RPGs. I'll try to wrap it up quickly enough. Just exploring as I did. I love when an RPG adds enough exploration areas where you can find secrets and things like that. That's the bread and butter for me when it comes to an RPG. It's the combat, it's the dialogue options, it's the mission structure, and it's the world. And the world has to be a bit of a character too for you. And from what I've seen already, I'm liking the world a lot. And this, again, I don't know how often I have to praise Unreal Engine 5 before you all get it. This is it. This engine is it, right? And for this to run so well on console, and I mean, you already knew it was going to run well on my PC, but it runs super well on console too. I know that Digital Foundry spoke on it. So, I know the coalition helped them with this as well, and it shows. The game is just gorgeous, flat out. Like the HDR, like I said, was popping. You go into the more shadowy areas, and then you step out into the sun, and you see the lumen kicking in from Unreal. It is just flat out gorgeous, and I can get lost in games like this. And mind you, I got a crazy backlog right now of like 5 different games I'm trying to play, including Indiana Jones, which I did not finish. I'm still in Sukhothai, and I fought that. I'll just say serpent. I won't go too far, so I don't want to spoil anything. But that was dope, by the way. But I'm saying I got so many other things I have to play. This is going to suck up all that time. You said 100 hours. I'm likely going to get 200. You know what I mean? So that's just me. And I know that the game is like 30 hours for the main story or something like that. I heard.
Well, I think it's about 30 hours if you straight line it. Because again, there are 4 ginormous biomes. You know, and again, if you just listen to Carrie Patel during all of her interviews, Obsidian themselves don't consider it an open world. It's an open hub. And I think that's been a lot of confusing as to what that means. An open hub are these massive regions in the living lands, right? And each one of the regions has multiple places that are on the map that you can go to. But within that region and these 3 places, there is a lot to look at. Like I said, I'm encroaching on the 60-hour mark, and I haven't even gotten to the 4th biome.
Yeah, see, so me and you have similar ways we play.
Yeah,
I can guarantee you I'm getting at least probably 200 hours out of this thing.
Yeah,
I replayed The Witcher 3. I got 300 hours in that, and
wow.
I know everything in The Witcher 3 and still did that. So like these games just they pull that out of me when they really pull me into that world. I'll stay in that world and really explore and look around. Like looking at what you're doing here, I'm already like, what's over there in these vines? Death, fall off. But so things like that is just stuff I'm really going to feed into and I guess delve into. I do like too that you go into the water, you can swim and all that. I hate when games have the limitation of water.
Where you drowned.
Yeah. So immediately I woke up on the beach. I'm like, let me see if I can go in this water. I'm like, okay, I can swim. So anyway, rambling, but I will say, folks, the game is good. I would say play it for yourself. Don't let anybody else convince you one way or another. Even with the praise, the effusive praise that we're giving it, play it for yourself and come to your own conclusion. It's in Game Pass. Why not? If you're subscribed, you will be a fool not to play it and try it out. And I don't want to hear any excuses because I saw some people, well, that one lady that said something, I don't like that, so I'm going to protest. Shut up. Play the game. Play the game and enjoy.
Very similar to Hogwarts.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Get out of here.
Yeah. I will say that the whole blanket feeling and statements from some people within games media and the community about this DEI stuff, it's not even present, folks. It's just not.
That DEI stuff is played out, man.
It really is.
We know what it really means when they say that. They're not. It doesn't even make sense to say it in the context of this game. It's DEI warriors. Like what?
Yeah.
You know how it be. If they can't complain on gameplay or graphics, they switch to something just random.
Exactly.
To bring a game down. So
exactly. But
so Bob Joe in the chat, who I've never seen here before. I'm not sure if you're a troll, Bob. We welcome everyone, even trolls. Says, how is Avowed one of the best RPGs? Laughing my ass off. Well, I mean, we played it. Have you played it? Probably not. So, I mean, obviously you're welcome here, Bob. But if you get out of line, I'll just ban you. Because if you're not here to have fun, then why even bother? And I read the chat.
Hey, Bob, if you're here just to be a troll because you want to hype up PlayStation, you might want to think Xbox because
we're going to get into a second story that you should be happy about because your own brand isn't helping you. But listen,
for the record, Bob, I'm a PlayStation guy saying this to you.
Yep, there he is. That's Mr. Platinum right there, and nobody has more than he does, as far as I know. But speaking of which, Big Cloud, first of all, brother, thank you so much for joining us. I don't know if you had a chance to play Avowed.
Nah.
But I do want to get your sentiment of what we've talked about, what you are, maybe because again, you play you have a PC, you have an ice rig, as a matter of fact. So you will probably have an opportunity to try out Avowed. What are your thoughts on some of the conversations that are happening within the community, but more importantly, of what you've seen of Avowed?
I mean, it sounds like a good game, and that's all you can really ask for at this particular time. Microsoft is getting more stuff than PlayStation, as is clearly being shown here, and that's cool. You guys deserve every game coming your guys' way. You guys have been very patient. So I saw the Metacritic score. I think it was like an 80, 81 or something like that on
Yes.
Metacritic. Really good. That's good to see. Hopefully, we continue this. I mean, granted, we got Doom. Doom is going to do ridiculously well. I'm not even worried about that. And there's everything else. But, you guys are got some good content coming. So that's cool. But as far as the game is concerned, it's cool to see that the game came out, it's optimized, and it's actually playable. That's one thing. And glad you guys are enjoying it. So that's all I can really say about it. As far as for me, I do dip and dab in on RPGs. The last RPG I played was Hogwarts Legacy. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So
yeah, it's a phenomenal game.
This might get a try on the rig for sure. I can't really say yes or no yet, but we'll see. But again, you guys are enjoying it. That's awesome. And to everybody else who might be interested after seeing the gameplay, hey, another good game's coming your way. So enjoy.
I loved Hogwarts too, by the way. I co-sign that with you.
And I love the idea that we're getting a second one. Like the fact that story is going to somehow be continued. And again, that's another game that was panned by people in the community about how could we support? And this is the author said this, and it was such a ridiculous, dumb argument that these developers who poured their hearts and soul into making it feel like you were actually playing. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I know I'm nerding out here. I didn't read the books. I watched the films, right? I've watched each one of the films probably about 25 times. And I could sit here and watch them all again and be just as amazed. And the one thing about Hogwarts was when you got there, you literally felt like you were in freaking Hogwarts.
It's easily one of the most like engrossing games where you feel like you're in the world. Really well done.
If you read if you read the books and you watched the movies, that was just your pure nostalgia going through them hallways, checking 100%. Out everything. And they captured the magic. They captured, literally, no pun intended, they captured the magic. They captured just the feels of
they did.
What made Hogwarts so special. And I might run through that again, double platinum that. You never know.
That game is worth your time. And again, obviously you could probably pick it up super cheap. I don't know how you're going to handle, new gameplay, or if you're going to try to play Avowed and Hogwarts. I would advise against that because that's just madness. But you know what? Let me just catch up on the 2 super chats that we have here. And I'm going to go right back to BitCloud because we have a story that, again, I talked about in the opening that was written by Jez Corden of Windows Central. Of course, one half of the Xbox 2 podcast with Randolph, the man with a million, which, by the way, I watched his video review this morning. It's about 24 minutes. Phenomenal stuff from Rand, as always. I mean, those guys, they don't miss. But let me just catch up on these super chats, and then we're going to come back to that story. We have Adidas20 drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, salute to all. Well, salute to you, kind sir. Happy Valentine's to you and the fam. Hopefully you have an amazing holiday weekend and that you get a lot of game playing in. We have Nightwolf3186, our generous friend of the program who has been with the channel supporting us for years. Nightwolf, brother, it's great to see you back. He drops, ladies and gentlemen, a $20 super chat. And he says, not what I expected, but as I keep playing, I came to the realization that this game is simplistic in nature while still being grand in scope. I am now convinced, especially in the story, that this gives KOTOR vibes, no joke. I mean, I personally compared it. My 2 games that merged to make this baby that is known as Avowed is Baldur's Gate 3. And I say Baldur's Gate 3, not that I played more than like 100 hours into that game. It's just not for me. I tried. But the one big takeaway that I got was the writing. The writing in Baldur's Gate 3 was a triumph. And the characters that I met and I was partied with, their opinions mattered. And even though I didn't put a significant amount of time into it, because again, I tried, ladies and gentlemen, it's just not a game for me. It was brilliant. And it won awards and it deserved every award that it won, right? And then I go back to being an old school G who remembers going to GameStop when they existed and getting the collector's edition of Oblivion and getting that cloth map and the gold coin, which, by the way, I still own, and playing this game and just being so freaking amazed by what I was playing. That is the best way I can describe what you're seeing in front of you. Avowed is an astounding game from start to finish. And mind you, like I said, I'm encroaching on 60 hours. I am looking for everything that my eyes and hands can get to. And more importantly, I don't have any rush in my mind. I got to beat this game. I am just enjoying the ride, and I am looking at every corner, every nook, every cranny. And if you like big games that gives as much to the player as the player gives to the game, this is it. So thank you, Nightwolf, for the generosity. BitCloud, I want to go back to you. Now, this is a bit of a two-tier conversation because I saw your video, which, by the way, was brilliant, about the state of play.
Thank you.
And my critique for the state of play was it was the state of third party. Yep. And from a gamer, and I said this before, as a game show, it's a 9 out of 10. They had a ton of games that I cannot wait to play on Xbox. And that's okay. But I think that the problem here is it's been so far removed from PlayStation having a PlayStation-ass show where they show off the strength of their first party that people have now just become, well, the state of play is going to be whatever. We don't expect anything. And we did get, Saurus, which is the new one.
Yeah.
And that looks, again, it
looks promising because I like Returnal, but
yeah, it looks like an extension or some sort of an evolution,
right? Because they showed a little Easter egg with a flare of bullets coming towards his way,
in his eye, his iris. Yes, for sure. But what I kind of want to focus on, and this is very interesting, and we haven't had a chance to talk about this, which is why I can't wait to get your opinion. Now, the story, the original tweet from Jez Corden, and I read it earlier, but I will read it again because there are over 600 people, live watching the show, and we definitely appreciate that here at Double Barrel Gaming. Jez goes on to say, Microsoft might legit publish more games on PS5 this year than Sony does. Gamers react to PlayStation State of Play and the strange times Xbox finds itself in. So I have the story in front of me. And again, it was written by Jez Corden, published yesterday. And, one of the things that I like about Jez, he gets right to the point. And he said this: Sony had its semi-regular State of Play showcase yesterday, and PlayStation gamers were hoping for a roadmap that were hoping for a roadmap received a lot of third-party multi-platform titles instead, but did Xbox bow out too soon? Now, of course, he's talking about exclusives, right? We're at a point right now, and I literally just had this conversation. I'm an old head. I get it. I'm the old man in the room. It's not a problem. The fact that I'm this old, right, and I got here, and I still have tomorrow to look forward to, I won as far as I'm concerned. But I do admit, being old school cat, that Microsoft, specifically Xbox, is right on the cusp of just dropping bomb after bomb after bomb. And if these were console exclusives, and I mean console exclusives to the point where, they're on PC. That's something they've been doing since Quantum Break, right? Yeah. That was the first one.
And both sides
they would be in a really good position, but that's not the way the world is. We all know it. Again, is it an excuse that budgets are ballooning, that studios are closing, that last year there were more people laid off in the first 2 months than there were the whole year? It's the industry is changing.
That's literally just the reality.
That is, in fact, the reality. I want to get your thoughts on this. How do you feel as a diehard PlayStation guy that your brand has had to reset itself? There is no focus. There doesn't seem to be a roadmap. and the biggest titles releasing this year are from their arch rivals, Xbox.
Yeah, no. So it's crazy because the first thing you'll see somebody bring up as a counter to this whole Xbox thing, they'll go like, "Oh, they're third party. They're not. They're a third party publisher. They're no longer making this, that, and the third." But here's the thing: Xbox hardware will still exist. The ecosystem will still exist. They're selling you different ways to play games. That's what they're doing. They're expanded. They went beyond the console, and this is a trend that you see PlayStation doing currently. They even alluded to this multiple times in multiple shows beyond the console. Hiroki Totoki, who is the new CEO of Sony, has flat out said that he wants a multi-plat strategy for PlayStation. That's been his long-term goal. That's what he wants to do to get more. It's not necessarily consoles out there. No, consoles will still exist. It's really flat out just he wants more software sales. He wants more. He wants to improve those sales margins. That's what he wants. He wants more revenue out of these games. And if you go by just the way things are being handled, like people bring this up and how they're third party, but then they missed out on one particular. And one thing I didn't miss that. I brought this up in the video and it was hilarious. People just woke up to reality to the point. I'm like, yeah. So for years, dude's been saying to me, Boom, Fuzzy, Crispy, everybody who's been on this show that day and date is out of the question. You guys are just hoping for it because of this, that, and the third. Well, here's the thing. Sony just literally announced a day and date game into not only PC, but well, actually, no, it was just PC, and that was Lost Souls Aside. That is a single player game that they are publishing flat out the gate. Do you say that games wouldn't go down this route? More games are going to follow suit and go this route. More games. They're giving incentive to PC players, just like they give incentives to PlayStation guys for Plus. Excuse me. They're doing the exact same thing for PC users to try to get them to sign in and log in. It's the exact same process. The problem is people don't want to pay attention to this and instead want to play the same old particular song and dance when it comes to this console war. Now, to go into more published games than PlayStation, I mean, at this point in time, it's like it's embarrassing, not necessarily just for PlayStation as a whole, right? Not just for PlayStation. It's really I'm more embarrassed for the fanboy logic that still is going around here. The fanboy logic is that they're still lost, they're still like locked in the past. And granted, I used to be on this type of trend where I believe that exclusives were the be all end all. There are receipts on me out there, got me defending exclusives. But here's the thing: when you have multiple studios closing, when you have multiple games being canceled, multiple developers laid off, some of which I've had the honor of talking to, I'm sorry, my heart goes more into this industry than it does to fight a petty war or petty arguments over who can play this game versus the other. The problem is a lot of people are not buying these games in droves the way they hype them up to be. And if you need a good example of this, just look at the recent drama, or look at the recent or just look at the state of play. You notice how there was a lot of dudes hyping up the state of play. There was a lot of people hyping this up. They were saying how this game's gonna be here, this game's gonna be here. And then when said games didn't show up, what did? They disappeared. It's quite simple. It's very, very quite simple. A lot of these dudes you see on here, first of all, don't have no connection. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. They have no connection. They don't know what they're talking about. They do this for attention. They care more about fighting the war, okay, than care about the games that come out. And you see a lot of people give a lot of leniency to this particular state of play. Now, here's a fun fact to everybody in the chat. If you put Xbox in front of this exact same show, do you really think they would be this lenient like they're doing to the PlayStation?
No, they would have said what they've said before. Well, third-party games don't count because
exactly.
Insert your opinion. Yeah.
And what's weird about this too, and again, I see Paris. What's up, Paris?
Yep, Paris. What's going on, brother? Welcome back. We'll get to you in a hot second. I know you got a few minutes.
But I see a lot of people flip this, right? It's annoying because I get it a lot. It's like, dude, listen. First of all, it's 5 years to this generation. 5 years. We have got more canceled games. Let me put that on record. We've got more canceled games than we've got new experiences out of PlayStation this gen. It's quite telling. It's quite telling. Yeah. They're remaking until Days Gone, excuse me. Why are you remaking Days Gone when you won't give John Garvin a greenlit sequel. Doesn't make sense, does it?
Well, again, to be
That makes
fair, and again, he's a gentleman and a scholar of the industry. Shuhei Yoshida explained why.
No,
They
he did.
want
They need
you.
money. They need
They
it.
want you to buy the remakes and remasters so they could fund new games.
But here's the thing, too. I don't even think that that's 110% true, because they had multiple opportunities to fund the remasters that actually, in my honest opinion, would sell or get buzz. One game in particular, especially with them forming a partnership with them, which is Kadokawa, is Bloodborne. Bloodborne has been on the table for mad long, and we have not heard a word since of Bloodborne. You see what I'm saying? And not all. And that kind of just tells me where they're at. They're not necessarily caring more so about making, I want to see the games to sell. No, I just feel like they're just throwing stuff at a dartboard and hoping something will stick at this point. That's what it feels like. There are multiple games in their lineup. There are multiple games in their legacy they could be bringing back. They turned down Resistance, Boom. And I've been talking about that for mad long.
Broke my heart.
Think about that. I've been talking about that for mad long. And
we've been talking about that for years.
Yeah,
we thought for sure that a Resistance. And listen, I know the whole remake thing. People don't want it. If a game is over 10 years old,
it deserves it.
You can make a remake. And Motorstorm is one of them. Resistance Fall of Man is another. The God of War trilogy that's rumored. Who wouldn't want a modern version of that? I'm take my money, please.
More bloodier, gory. I mean, come on. I'll take that without a doubt for sure. But the fact that that it was legit proven, and this goes to the fact again. It goes to like you never know who's listening, and that's a good point. But to hear that Insomniac was listening really did put a smile on my face. What killed me is that the very company that, again, is supposed to be for us said no. But you know what they did give us? They gave us Concord. No one asked for Concord. No one asked for that. No one asked for 12 live service games. No one's asking for a repackaging of Day Is Gone or Until Dawn because you're making a movie. Nobody's asking for this. Nobody's asking for you to repackage Last of Us Part 1 and then cut out a main core feature from the game, which was factions. No one's asking for this. And you're charging and you're asking for top dollar for this. And what's even more crazy about this too, I remember dudes just argue. Remember that, Boom? Dudes argued with me over that. They was like, "Oh, we don't need factions because we got," and I quote, "Factions 2." But when Factions 2 was canceled, they said, "Oh, we don't need Factions 2 because that will hurt them. That will hurt them at the studio." It was the most ridiculous. It was like I was in the Twilight Zone. People have so much weird, like, it's hard. It's hard to read people.
Yes, absolutely, Paris. Chime in, brother. First of all, welcome, Paris Silly. Great. First of all, awesome. Reveal with your score with Greg and the guys. That was awesome. Love the interaction between you and Danny, as you've been doing for years with Gamertag Radio. But welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you inviting me here. Before we get to Avowed, I just want to say this because I want to pivot off of what BitCloud is talking about right now. And I'm sure there's going to be people that are watching and listening to this that is not going to like what I have to say.
Oh,
there's a lot of people that need to grow up.
Yes.
I mean, it's true.
I mean, period, point blank. There's a lot of adults that act like children online. Like, here's my perspective on this. To your point, Boom, I've been doing this a long ass time.
Yeah.
So I think I have a pretty good perspective on the industry and how it works. And, I've been very lucky with various opportunities and people that I get to speak both publicly and privately. So that does help shape my opinion because I get a different lens than the average person does. Right. And the reason I say that is you see, and because BitCloud said it, just made me laugh when he said it. You have a lot of people that just simply don't know what they're talking about.
They really don't.
I mean, period, point blank. And they've made their identity, their online identity about a brand. Yeah. And you will say whatever you need to say to quote unquote defend that brand, or you feel like if someone's praising the brand that isn't yours, they're, I hear all kinds of stupid nonsense. You're public enemy number one. Yeah. Let me clip some videos or tweets that you might have had 6 or 7 years ago about something you said when, maybe the business changed in 6 or 7 years. So your opinion changed because you see what's going on. And I'm just saying all that because I'm really seeing it be more heightened lately where it's just very toxic.
What is the weaponizing of the hobby?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and like I said, these aren't children; these are adults. These are
people
adults
with families and kids. Bro.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mortgages, rents, everything. Yeah.
It's like I just keep it real with you. I do this because I love to do it, right? So my opinion is my opinion. Just like bringing Avowed into this. Yeah, I said it was a 9.5, and I gave my reasons why. Because I enjoyed the game because it gave me what I wanted from it, right? I wasn't asking it to do something that Obsidian never promised it would do. It was an Obsidian ass RPG.
Yes,
what
it
was.
Is.
And I enjoy it for what it is. I enjoy the combat. I enjoy the difficulty in it. I enjoy the exploration in it. So for me, 9.5. And look, I honestly, I'm not looking at a lot of comments online because I'm pretty sure most of it's nonsense. But, I've seen a lot of people go, hey, that's great, because people just want to play great games, man. That's all it really comes down to. I honestly hate putting numbers on a review. I would rather people listen to what is being said versus they see a number and they freak out, right? Because I'll give you the opposite perspective on this. Indiana Jones, I gave it a 7, and people, got a little upset with me by that. But it's like, did you listen to what I said and the reasons why I said what I said? No, you just saw a number. Even though 7 isn't a bad score, 7 actually is good. But in today's world, 7 means it's a bad game, which is ridiculous on its own.
Paris. It's a Stapleton effect. It's the Dan Stapleton effect. So 7s are now, demonized. And by the way, our Hoove brothers, they have also made 7s bad online.
Yeah,
that's why people see it as bad.
Exactly. So it is what it is. And I'm just saying all this because in my old age, I'm definitely just. It's the same people over and over and over again, saying the same things over and over and over again. I mean, after all these years of me doing what I do, are you really shocked what my opinions on something is going to be, or what I like and I dislike it? Like at this point, it's just tired seeing the same things over and over again. So I do wish there was a little more maturity in the space, but it's the internet. And obviously we know the current state of the world. So it's encouraged to be an ass online versus just being an adult versus doing a lot of these things. So,
what the crazy part
about
it, Paris? So when evidently the whole exclusive thing eventually comes to an end, because we already know it's coming.
Yeah, it is.
We see it, and it eventually goes to something else. You already know, that's the same thing. This whole console war thing, this whole exclusive war thing, is gonna I guess evolve too, but it's not going to be what we are talking about now. It's going to be like the platform war or something like that. That's what it's going to be. It's just you can't really win with these people because these people just have nothing going on with their lives. So most of these dudes don't even play these games, and that's evident in the sales. If the game sold the way it was supposed to sell, you wouldn't have X amount of change. That's verbatim.
I mean, for me, I joked the other day that I saw Destin and I had a whole thread on Icon Era where people were digging in the stuff that we said. So I'm like, I'm flattered. Thank you. I'm happy that my words matter that much to you, that you got to make a whole thread about it, because here's the truth about exclusivity. Whether people like it or not, it's just a reality of it. This industry is static.
Yes.
From a software standpoint. You can look at the numbers that PlayStation has 75 million PS5s out there, right?
Awesome.
How many of these softwares? What's the attach rate? What's the attach rate to their first party stuff? That's the thing. Again, Astrobot, which I've been singing the praises of from the get, game of the year. It consistently keeps winning game of the year. Now, a panel of peers just made it game of the year again last night at DICE, right? Yep. So I think it's pretty obvious it's a really good game. Nobody's buying it.
1.5 million.
So
honestly,
this is why I just say this real quick. This is why you see Xbox doing what they're doing, because Phil has made it very clear they are in third place when it comes to hardware sales. Obviously, they've invested billions of dollars into these acquisitions. They made the determination that, you know what? Sure, we played the normal game of exclusivity. It's not going to work anymore. We got to pivot. And they did. Because his own words, my words from, go back to 2020, 2021, was talking about exclusivity and why they acquired Bethesda, because it was about Game Pass and exclusivity and all that. He said it. You know what I'm saying? we're going to put these games where Game Pass exists. Clearly that changed. So we can argue about it. We can clip videos about it and do all this stuff, but it's happening.
You can with PlayStation. I mean, look
exactly.
Look who's
so
in
you
charge
either adjust
right
to it or you don't. Is my whole thing. It's like I'm here for games. Like I don't care if it's an Xbox game, a PlayStation game, a ColecoVision game. It does not matter to me. If it's a good game, I want to play it. So if it's available,
I love this industry too much just to see it go down over something stupid as like, oh, Paris, you can't play this PlayStation game on your. It's stupid. It makes no sense. And honestly, people do more weaponized, like we just said earlier, than playing these games, and it's showing.
Oh now, no, these people we see online aren't playing nothing because you spend all your time online.
Yeah, and it's sad. And the sad part about it is too, these be the main ones that will maybe make a thread like on Icon Era, right? Or they might go and make X amount of videos and they'll cry and go, gee, why am I not getting sequels to these games? Well, it's very simple. You're not buying the games when it matters.
Buying the game.
You can't wait a year or so when it's on sale or whatever and then pretend and act like you're part of the club. No, you didn't support it when it mattered. That's the problem.
Yeah. And you know, and I've seen this recent crusade. I will leave names out of it, but I'm pretty sure people know what I'm talking about exclusivity and why exclusivity, like it's bad if games are multi-platform and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, they quote tweet me and all this nonsense. and I responded last week and look, bottom line is this: multiplayer games reach more people and make more money. Mm-hmm. It's a business. That's why. So you can argue till you're blue in the face about, you only have to develop one platform, so that's better, blah, blah. All that can be valid, but they're trying to make money.
Yeah, no,
all it comes down to.
To even add to your point, I guess Helldivers dropping day and date in PC was a bad thing, even though it became
and that's my point.
Game.
That's my point. And last time I checked, some of the greatest games of all time are third party.
Look at
and the highest selling, by the way.
I was going to add to your point when you made about the whole Icon Era thing, because the guy who runs that site made a stupid post. He was like, oh, by the way, guys, PlayStation is getting away from their PC strategy because X amount of games seem to be delayed. But yet, literally just yesterday or whatever, we got the PlayStation. Sony announced that they're doing Lost Souls Aside. Yep. And that game is a single player game, Bears, and it's day and date in PC.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if they're deviating away from the plan, why in God's name are single player games going day and date into PC now? See, a lot of people are just too busy focusing on one particular side and trying to build a brand around heat on one side, when the reality is what's happening in your back door, it's literally happening the exact same way. But the thing is, Sony's behind. They have to catch up in a lot of ways to build the ecosystem, but they are definitely going the same route. It is clearly evident what is happening.
I've been saying this since people love to pull old stuff on me. I've been saying this since 2019 that PlayStation was going to eventually put their games on PC. And here we are. And now they're going to slowly but surely, as they get more studio resources to be able to do it, go day and date. It's going to happen because at the end of the day, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
What's the incentive not to? Because my whole thing is this: anybody that wanted to buy, that's on PC, that wanted to play a PlayStation game, they'd have bought a PlayStation already.
These are facts. And
so you're not convincing someone by putting Spider-Man a year later on PC to go, you know what, I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5 to play Spider-Man 3. That's not how it works.
Or expecting the same crazy sales results as the game would do if it was red hot day one, like on PC. Yeah. That's the other thing people don't understand too. But it is a lot of weird things I saw. People were even comparing concurrent numbers. That's how you know these dudes.
That's the insanity of it to me. Here's how I look at it. Here's how I look at it, both on the Xbox side, PlayStation side, whatever, and however you want to look at it. If you've already bought your box and you get to play your games on that box, why do you care how many more are being sold?
Especially if you quote unquote love the game. I see, me personally, I mean, a lot of people were mixed on Spider-Man 2. I don't know how you felt about it. I thought Spider-Man 2 was one of the greatest games that we've gotten from Sonic. I loved it because I loved Venom. I loved what the story they were telling with it. It's one of my favorites. But the thing is, though, like in the midst of just the whole drama surrounding it, dudes, I know for a fact there's a lot of dudes who talked about it that even so much as platinum the game or even probably beat the story, and all of a sudden are like, it can't go here. This will devalue the platform. My thing is this: how does it devalue the platform when more eyes are going to be on the platform through this game?
But you're speaking common sense.
That's where you went wrong.
It lacks. It lacks completely. Common sense lacks completely. When Shuei Yoshida, granted, shout out to Shuei Yoshida, but when Shuei Yoshida flat out told you that Sony needs PC gaming to fund the AAA games that you want, that's pretty much verbatim that's pretty much telling you the gravity of the situation that we're in right now and how things are about to switch to this direction. Yeah.
I will say this. Like I said at the top, I've been very lucky, some of the conversations that I've been able to have over the years and some of the people that I will meet. I will clearly not say names, but being able to talk to people that are decision makers in this industry across publishers, it ain't just Xbox, across publishers, has opened my eyes to this industry is in trouble, man. It's not doing great. The AAA game budgets are out of control. They're taking way too long to come out. So that's why you have an idea like a Concord in, let's say, 2018, that by the time it comes out in 2024, nobody wants that anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So this is why you go back to 2020 when we initially got game reveals for an Avowed just now coming out. We saw it in 2020. Everwild was shown to us back in 2019 or something like that. Still isn't out. Fable 2020 still isn't out. Wolverine 2020 still isn't out.
Yeah,
I don't think games are taking too long.
Well, Wolverine too. I don't even think a lot of people are saying Wolverine's going to be at the state of play. The thing about Wolverine, and again, God bless Insomniac for the situation, but I mean, how bad it is. But I don't even think that game's coming out for PS5 at this point because of how bad the leak was. Yeah, I remember the source code got leaked online. The entire game was out there. So the roster, the story, this is arguably up there one of the biggest leaks, like bigger than Last of Us, in my honest opinion. Because Last of Us, there was just a couple of scenes, and just remember the script was leaked. That was about it. This, you had the script, the characters, the reveals, all that was leaked, plus the roadmap and deal that Sony signed with Marvel to make X-Men titles. So all that was leaked. So again, I really do feel like a lot of this stuff probably going to be pushed back even further. So
no, it very well could. I mean, you were alluding to it earlier when you were talking, but you can't cancel 10 plus games and then still think you got a consistent roadmap of stuff coming out. That clearly is going to push the timeline back. Look, Xbox went through this in 2022. But they didn't have nothing. When Redfall and Starfield got delayed, Pentiment was the big game of that year.
It had nothing. Yeah,
they had nothing. So we've seen that pain on the Xbox side as well. Xbox is finally just now, I would say the second half of last year, as we now see coming into this year, they're finally hitting their cadence of they got their studios on a good pace. They're pumping out these games. Yeah. Great. You know what I mean? PlayStation is going to hit a dip just because they cancel so much stuff. That's just a fact. That isn't fanboy console war stuff. That's just reality. You can't cancel 10 games then think you're about to get a whole bunch of stuff coming in the next couple of years. It's not how it works.
Yeah, no, and I heard that they're also doing they're talking about bringing back I guess same games, the same level of scope as Astrobot, so to speak. So maybe
which I'm fine with, honestly.
Yeah, no, because that can lead to Ape Escape. That can lead to something like that, or Sly Cooper. Like that leaves me hope for the future. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is, we're in the now right now. You see what I'm saying? And the now right now is the fact that you don't have literally anything as it is. The stuff that is coming out this year is stuff that was delayed, that we've been knew about, that's now coming out here, which is Death Stranding 2. You have
Ghost of
Yotai and
Big Cloud. By the way, do you think Death Stranding 2 will go day and date on PC as well?
That's interesting. Because we don't know. It wouldn't shock me if it did.
So
it makes more sense, especially when you want to make money, because look, again,
it's not just that though. Remember, Kojima was like grinning ear to ear when he saw the reaction his game got from Steam.
Yeah,
and that's part of my reason why. Because Kojima Productions has some ownership in the publishing. I do believe, and I could be off on this, but because God forbid this will get clipped if I'm wrong. But
I'll double up for you. Sorrows, the new game from
Housemarque.
Housemarque, thank you. That game, I said in a video, because the Returnal was a great game. I don't know if you enjoyed Returnal as much as I did.
I loved it. Returnal.
I loved Returnal.
It was fantastic.
I wanted that game to hit so many more strides. You see what I'm saying? I really do think that this is a game you strike when the iron is hot to PC, and PlayStation day and date. You're already doing it with Lost Soul aside. That game is going to do great. I really do think that game, honestly, Lost Soul aside is going to be the game to look out for in terms of numbers. I think we can all agree. If that game does exceptionally well day and date with PC and PlayStation, then I think that's really going to open that door even wider. And I think Hiroki Totoki is going to look at these numbers even more so. But
yeah, well, he's a numbers guy. I mean, that's just the reality with Sony is they need to course correct. You have to remember how much invested monies that they've lost over the last 18 to 24 months.
Yeah.
And it can go all the way back to PlayStation VR 2.0. That was abandoned rather quickly. They spent millions and millions of dollars in investment, and they did what they do most of the time. And when something doesn't make money, they abandon it. They did it with PlayStation via the PSP.
Mm-hmm.
They did it with the PlayStation VR 1. That's why I'd invest in 2. And again, some of the 10 cancellations in 3 years, the Concord situation, this adds up to a lot of loss.
Yeah.
And this is why they're in the position they're in. But listen, gentlemen, Paris, I don't know how much more time that you have here, but I kind of just want you to if you wouldn't mind, give us a more detailed synopsis, if you will, of why you really enjoyed Avowed, because to give it a 9.5 out of 10, that's saying something. That was my ultimate score as well. I want to get your thoughts, and then we will get Infinite.
Paris was paid off. I can tell you the answer now.
Paris was paid off. I love it.
I was paid off in fun and enjoyment. That's what they paid me.
Hey, there you go. That's how you handle it. I love it.
There you go.
But to answer your question, I mean, I talked about this on Kind of Funny yesterday. It's the fact that there's layers to this where they don't necessarily hold your hand when you're going through these different zones in the living lands, right? There's so many things that if you decide yourself to go discover, you're rewarded for it. The game feels very rewarding to me. I love that the combat is not easy. Like I started off playing on hard, right? Like I play on hard, I do that. Man, I hit a difficulty skill check quick. I think like level 5 or something like that, right? I'm like, whoa, everything was 3 skulls. I'm like, how do I proceed through this? I got to one boss. I won't spoil anything. I will fully admit I dropped it to normal so I could get past it. But then that was my wake up call that I'm like, I need to learn the different weapon combinations. I need to learn the abilities. I need to learn how to utilize my companions properly to get past these encounters. So it's like I was purposely looking to get into battles with random stuff out in the world, right? Because I love the combat that much. And I loved, like when you the first time I found one of the totem fragments, right? Just by complete accident, when I think it was in Scatterborn or whatever, I went into a lagoon and there was a fragment in there. I'm like, wait, what? There's fragments? What is this? And then it was like, but we're not going to tell you how to find them. So then you have to go find the thing to go give you the clues to go find even more of them, right? And you have to find the totem stand at the same time. That then had me go back to the Emerald Zone and go back to Dawnwalker and do the totem fragments there. Then I accidentally found a treasure map. What the hell is a treasure map? Oh, it just gives you a picture. Now I got to find out where the picture is. And then there's like a secret way to get to the treasure map. I'm like, oh, this is freaking great. Not to mention going through the weapon upgrades, right? You find a weapon you really like, even if it's a common weapon, you can upgrade it, right? You got to find the resources. Obviously, the resources become more scarce as the higher you get up to legendary, right? So even that, I can craft them. I can go to merchants. I have to find them out in the world. Like, you're encouraged to take your freaking time in this game and enjoy, literally, like I said in the tweet, enjoy the ride. Like, here's what I'll say. I've seen, obviously, there's lower scores and stuff like that. Obviously, even on KF, Greg was lower than I was. But my personal opinion, I'm not going to speak for anyone. I think we had that 2-week window to play it. I think people was speed running. That's what I think. Because I know for a fact, I saw some people like a week before embargo saying, I'm done with Avowed and I'm writing up my review. And I'm thinking, damn, I'm barely into this. How are you already done, right?
It's real interesting you said that, Paris, because I heard through the grapevine a few people who bought it and had to buy it themselves. They only had like 3 days in it before they did the review. I'm like, how would you do that with a game like this?
Yeah, there's no way. Like I said, did the review at 52 hours. Like I was like, I did get to a point where I was like, all right, let me just roll credits so I can see, because I knew I was going to go back and play it again. I could easily have done 70 plus in it. There's stuff I still didn't see. And it's like, even having conversations with some people now, there's stuff they did that I didn't do that was affected by dialogue choices as well. So it's like, there's definitely more layers to this where I want to go back. The replayability is in make different decisions, roll different weapon combinations, stuff like that, do different ability. I want to try all of that. Like, here's what I'll say on a down note. Some of the narrative was fantastic. Others, not that good. You know, where I was kind of like, all right, get to the point. I feel like this is dragging, stuff like that. Sure. Could we have had a better end game to it? And when I say that finale, and I'm not spoiling anything, your mileage may vary on that. And hell, maybe my decisions affected that, because there is one critical choice that you make where it definitely branches, right? So I definitely want to see the other branch of that. Could that have been a little better? Sure. But I felt the journey of getting there was so rewarding to me and so much fun to me. Again, I keep going back to the combat. The combat to me is fun as hell. I love the combat in this.
Really well done.
That exploring the living lands, like these worlds are so beautiful. The art team, everything that they were able to do, the level design that they were able to do in this is fantastic. I love the fact that you could see something like, can I get up to that? And then you try it and you can, and then it finds out there's something there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people think, oh, the bounties are just tedious. No, do the bounties. Not only are they giving you XP, but at the same time, they're giving you money so you can go to these merchants, and if you got to buy resources, again, there's stuff you'll find, you'll be shocked that you'll find if you take the time to go do it, is the point that I'm trying to make. And that's why I gave it a 9.5, because this is what I wanted from Obsidian. For me personally, this is what I wanted, and they delivered on it at an exceptional level, and they deserve all the praise that they're getting. 100%.
Yeah, what I said, Paris, and I think it kind of does align, like parallel to what you said. The more the gamer puts into it, the more Avowed rewards for your curiosity.
100%.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, just to throw it out there, I knew a few people who were playing it early, I guess I could say, and they had the same score as you had, which was a 9.5. And when they heard the actual meta come out, they were like, huh? How? Like they were shocked by that.
Yep.
But they had the exact same score. They had a 9.5.
Is it a perfect game? No. It has its flaws. Yeah, like all games, but ultimately this is exactly what I was hoping for Bethesda. I said Bethesda, for Obsidian to make an Obsidian game. This is it, folks. And look, I know that this might make some people's ears bleed. It might be considered sacrilege, if you will. I would dare say, for me, as a diehard fan of this developer who considers Bethesda's own Fallouts secondary to Fallout New Vegas, this is shoulder to shoulder with New Vegas. That's my opinion from a fan, not a fanboy. As much as I love Todd Howard and the team at Bethesda, I've enjoyed my time with Fallout, but my favorite Fallout is Fallout New Vegas, and I gotta tell you, if you enjoyed that, and again, that was one of those games that was really big on character development, as well as what you put into the game rewards you. I have to say it again, Avowed does that in spades. They really do. But Paris, I don't know how much more longer you got to hang out with us. I do want to try pass the mic over to Infinite Umbra.
I can stay a little bit longer because it turned out my kids didn't have school today. I didn't even realize that.
Wow, they have a 4-day weekend. Good for them.
Yeah,
that's freaking
President's Day
awesome.
stuff. Yeah,
nice. Well, listen. First of all, thank you so much for popping in here. But I want to go to Infinite Umbra. Infinite, you've heard from Paris. You've heard from BitCloud. This is a very interesting story, and of course, it comes the way of Jez Corden of Windows Central. And I think, look, the writing's on the wall, folks. Microsoft, or specifically Xbox, they're doing things differently. Old heads like me, we don't like it, but we accept it because there really isn't anything that we can do. And I've said this before, Brian. I think you've also agreed to this sentiment. As long as an Xbox gamer with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, we are not having things removed from us to put on PlayStation as exclusive, there is no reason to complain. Yes, the new ideology and the direction of the company is not what we would have imagined 10 years ago. But like Paris and Big Cloud has said themselves, the industry is changing. So what actually do we want here as good humans? Do we want to see studios close? Do we want to see people lose their jobs? Do we want to see massive layoffs of teams? No, of course we don't want to see that. And if you do, you're an idiot. I'll tell you that right now. But Microsoft may legit, according to the story, publish more games on PlayStation 5 in 2025 than Sony does. And I think that is a given fact when you consider that Hellblade, again, this was a part of the story, is the next big one to drop. I would imagine Starfield's around the corner. They have Indiana Jones in the spring. They have Doom Eternal coming. They have let's see, the Outer Worlds 2 will be in the fall, I would imagine, again from Obsidian. You have the new Call of Duty, and there might be, Forza Horizon 5, the number one wish list game on PlayStation right now. Mm-hmm. That is a lot of content from Xbox on a PlayStation 5. So if you are a PlayStation 5 game only gamer, hey man, you won. You just have to buy these games at full boat. We'll see what they sell. But what are your thoughts on this story published by Jez Corden?
Well, I could say that Phil, or at least Satya, because this is his strategy with the whole multiplayer thing. I would say that he's probably telling PlayStation gamers, what can I say except you're welcome? Because they're getting all the games, man. And the thing is, for me, Boom, and I've said this many times, and I know it sounds probably pretentious to people, but honestly, man, with me moving on to really gaming on PC more and more, because I wanted a performance situation. I still got my Xbox. I still look at it. But when when I've adjusted to gaming more on PC, the more I've done that, the less I've cared about this. That's the best way I can put this. And it's put such an ease on my mind whereas I used to be like, oh, you can't put these games over there. This has to say exclusive. Now, we'll tell you there are a few. And you've heard me say this before, Boom, to you. There are a few where I'm like, hey, now you're going too far. And that's the Halos, right? That's the Gears. Those are the ones I'm like, hey, now don't do that. But because at a point, you still want to have an identity for the platform, right? So, and then I have to look at it also as there are people who are strictly on console. They don't want to play on PC. So I do get it. I don't want to dismiss those people's fears or feelings on that, right? And I don't also want to mix them in with people who are just console warring or only have the position they have based off console warring and exclusivity wars, right? That's because it's short-sighted to do that. I don't want to minimize their feelings on that. I will just say, from my perspective, on being more on PC nowadays, playing gaming on PC, is that the more I've adjusted to that and knowing that I can get everything, the less I've cared about this. And it's their business at the end of the day. If they succeed or fail, it's on them. It's not on us. So I'm going to support, to Paris's point, he made a great point, which I think everybody should stick to as far as a motto. We should just care about good games. Deliver me great games. I'm not even going to say good. Deliver me great games.
Yep.
And we're all good.
And
That's it. You don't deliver good games or great games, then I'm going to, be on you like Boom was on those bears with the light spear. Like, hey, get it together over there. No more Craigs, right? And that's really it. So, I get it. And I think PlayStation is, to you guys' point, they're going to adjust. Might be some time before they do it. It won't do it as fast as Microsoft seems to be gung-ho about doing it, right?
We'll see after this year. Because look how quick they've reversed like a good chunk of their controversial decisions. One of their main one was the login requirement.
Yep, that's
So
true.
they're reverting all that stuff back. So it's
The
interesting.
PC players made them bend the knee because they don't. The PC gamers don't care.
They don't play. They
Yeah,
do not play, man.
yeah.
They will cut you off at the ankles.
They
PC
will.
gamers haven't paid, do not pay for online play, and if you try to, yuck their yum, they're gonna let you know about yourself. So yeah,
pretty much it. And yeah, and I don't know how soon Sony will do it because they still have that traditional model that they're reliant on. So I don't know how that's going to work for them.
Well,
one
going
thing
off the wording of
Yeah.
Nishino and to Toki, I would not be surprised if
I agree with you because Toki was pretty clear.
Well, it's not just that though. Nishino's wording is like, we're making games for, I don't know if Paris is still there, but he literally said we're making games for everyone, not specifically PlayStation centric or our ecosystem we're known for. No, he said for everyone.
Right.
So when you look at the wording and you just look at how they're going about this, it's like, no, this is clearly obvious and this is definitely on the wall. A lot of people just don't. I mean, you see it on Twitter.
Accept it. Yeah, I see them.
People want to just argue, based on how many games they can count on one hand versus the other one on the other side. That's all it is. And the sad thing is they don't really care about these games enough to buy them. And it shows.
That is odd. I will agree. Like, you would think, because you see the record sales, right, that they suppose, I guess, had with consoles, right?
Right, 75 million.
Yeah, 75 million, which is very impressive. No.
Crazy. And you would think, okay, that should translate to what? I guess at least 30% of them buying first party, right? 40%, something like that, something 50%, something.
And you know what's funny about that?
They don't.
They always try to put themselves in the same bubble as Nintendo. So here's the thing. Nintendo doesn't need to do day-and-day anything. Number one, their budgets are nowhere near a fraction of what Sony's are with their games. That's number one. Number two, their games sell in the 30 million price range or
ridiculous
sales range.
Yeah.
You can probably name like one or two, maybe three games on PlayStation that's probably hit 30 million. But keep in mind, this is like over years of these games being out there, number one, and number two, multiple entries. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't see like a single game doing 30 million from PlayStation, period. You don't be seeing that. And that's the thing. Like Sony knows this, like Hiroki Toki knows that they want more. And again, like people just need to get with the times. Like this whole arguing on Twitter, arguing and harassing people in comments such as over, oh, you can't play this. It not only is it played out, but it's like now you guys are seeing the worst results as at the end of this. Dudes rather talk about this in podcasts rather than go out there and support the developers they quote unquote claim to care about. And it's showing like the results.
It is showing.
You can't deny the results. The results are very simple.
What it is too is just it's a tribalism thing, right? I mean, we all recognize
1,000%.
Yeah. Like you can't come on this side, but you know what?
Exactly.
And it's like, listen, nobody really cares to come on that side. It's just, we care about good games.
I will say though, Crap Gamer and them can stay on that side now. Y'all stay over there. Don't come back over here because y'all.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, again, it's
I'm joking.
No, but a lot lot of these people have made their bed and they have to now lie in it.
He'll be back on, bro. Don't worry. He'll be coming
back.
It's fine. It's fine. No, but I mean, Umber,
I don't know. Good love, all love to him messing around.
No, but you're right. You're definitely right about the way the business is being made. And again, everyone has made fantastic points. Now, folks, we only usually run about 90 minutes, but this is a rather large panel. I do want to get Fuzzy Belvedere's hot take on this report from Jez Corden. And again, I really think it's a very much common sense report, considering what we know already is going to be on PlayStation and what could potentially be announced on the other half of the year, which again, I fully expect that coming up to its 2-year anniversary, Starfield is going to be next. I mean, it just seems for the course.
Hey,
but
look,
before we bring Fuzzy in,
when that game does go, just expect a lot of idiots who did X amount of videos
saying
they're gonna say it's the greatest thing of all time. Yeah, just expect that. Dudes are going to talk about how it's going to be quote unquote pro enhanced, even though it's not pro enhanced. That's what you're going to see. But
well, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But any I won't say any last words, Umbra, but any final thoughts?
That doesn't sound right. Trying to take me out like you took the bear out.
What you got any last words there, fella?
You got any last words? I mean, go Bears. I don't know. Listen. Shout out just to say to Paris and to Bit Cloud for jumping in here on the panel with us. I'm saying this as if I'm regularly on the panel. It's a gift. I'm a gift too, y'all. Hold on.
Yeah, indeed you are, sir. Plus,
I'm a
you have
gift.
a great singing voice. So there's that.
There you go. Big me up, Harris. You can do it too. You don't have to sit over there quiet now. You can, support me. No, seriously. Good panel, good talk.
I was talking to Colt Eastwood. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
We're complaining about how awful the comment section has been between South of Midnight and Avowed.
Oh yeah.
It has been.
Sure.
I've like you, Paris. I've stopped reading it because there comes a point where even if you are trying to be honest and fair, there are people that you're just never going to win the argument, and at that point, why even have a conversation? Like, why even bother? I'm not gonna. I barely have time to put into gaming because I live stream 5 days a week. I am not wasting a single minute of my free time that I'm not working out, cleaning this house, preparing for the next show and playing games for these knuckleheads that just want to win some sort of a verbal war. And you know something? I think I've said this before. Their window of fame is like a shooting star. Like it's super, super bright for a second, and it fizzles out. No one gives a shit after that. And
Here's what I'll say. And I don't know if the chat will be mad that I say this, but it is easy to be an anonymous avatar online because you get to say whatever you want. Oh, I know, because it's very easy to just be anonymous and say whatever nonsense that you want online. Mm-hmm. It takes courage to put your face on camera week after week and put your opinion out there week after week to be scrutinized. So people don't have people like that don't have respect for that because they don't have the courage to do it themselves. So they try to bring you down to their level by like again, I bring up South of Midnight as an example, right? Talked about South of Midnight, gave my honest opinion that, hey, I love the experience of it. Combat, not so good. It's very simplistic. Maybe it'll get better as you go along in the game. I don't know. The comment section is just awful. Racist stuff, DEI, woke, you're a shill, you're all this nonsense. But here's the truth. None of these people would dare say that to you in public.
Of course,
they would never say that.
Cowards. That's what they do.
And that's why it's pointless to even read the comment section for stuff like that because you're not getting genuine feedback. So that's my thing. If you give me genuine critical feedback, I'm very receptive to that. But when you just spout off nonsense because you're a coward behind your keyboard, I'm not going to listen to you.
There you go. And as you shouldn't. Oh, again, your our time as a singular person is worth too much. And again, that's why I've stopped. I tweet, and it's usually just promoting the stuff. I don't get in the conversations because you're not going to win. People are going to try to clip you and make you out to be like this monster of a person. But listen, this has been a great show. Before we get on out of here, we got a couple super chats, but I do want to pull in Fuzzy Belvedere. Fuzzy, again, you and I have talked about this on multiple shows that we're on. You've talked about this being on Mav's multiple shows as well. A lot of what's happening for PlayStation is coming from Xbox, and it actually works out for PlayStation because they don't have their own games. Yes, they have a few exclusives coming, right? Mm-hmm. They do have a few games that are going to be, timed exclusives versus PC or just money-hatted games because they don't have their first-party games ready. And it makes sense. It makes business sense to do that. But my goodness, who would have thought 5-10 years ago that Xbox, their direct competitor, would put as many games on that platform that actually has the normies very excited to play these games who may or may not have been Xbox gamers before? Let's talk about it, man.
Well, Xbox has so many games, so that meme of Xbox has no games can die finally.
Yes,
they have so many games that they have to share them. But in all seriousness, I think it's good overall from the business standpoint. From the console warring standpoint, the Sega kid in me at some point was like, yeah, that's probably not the way I would do things. But then again, that's not for me to say. But in the grand scheme of things, I think moving forward, this is the better way to have you access the games wherever you want to play them. And I know it sounds like a commercial at one that games on or I game on my Quest 3, I game on my Steam Deck, I game on my PC, I game on both my PS5 and my Xbox. I think this makes sense for being able to have things like your cross save or your progression carry over with you. Now, as far as things just fully going over to someone that may not have even considered the Xbox ecosystem at all, I was in that same position when the PS3 came out. And the only thing that really made me look at the 360, because I was all anti-Microsoft because of how Windows ME was for PC gaming and the way Windows Vista was for PC gaming, were the couple of games which were Dead Rising, which one of or two I think came over to PS3 at that point, and then with the way was it Grand Theft Auto 5 appeared on the 360, because on the PS3, even though the cell processor was supposed to be superior for graphics, it didn't have blowing sails or flags in the actual game, or at least until a much later patch by the time the PS4 came out, which I always wondered why my gameplay in comparison to what other people would post for 360 gameplay didn't have theirs had sails on the boats, had flags blowing in the wind, and there was none of that on the PS3, at least until like the end of life cycle for it. So didn't consider the Xbox until Drive Club. That kind of came and went. It was delayed, didn't work at launch. It was supposed to be an online game that was the Achilles heel for it to some extent, and they kept on advertising it as the Forza killer. Well, it was time for me to check out what Forza was all about, and Forza Horizon to me was like a night and day difference of what I could experience being a sim racing fan and an arcade racing fan, being able to have the freedom to cut across people's yards and stuff like that was like a game changing thing. So now PS players getting the experience like things like Forza Horizon 5 after Sony's killed off Evolution Studios and there's no chance of another Drive Club
Japan's gone.
The MotorStorm is gone and stuff.
No Resistance, no Order.
They definitely could use a good arcade racer. Now, bear in mind, Motorfest has done its best to kind of mimic Forza Horizon as best it could. But in all honesty, it's better for them to get a chance to play the original. And considering we've already reached 40 or 45 million players between Xbox and PC, what's another 5 to 15 million added to that total? And I think that would be that unifying experience that people, at least on that box, can experience an arcade racer where there is a community of painters and creators that make like different tracks and scenes and things like that you can participate in. And we've seen how a lot of the PlayStation players have adopted Sea of Thieves and things along those lines. So the games going over there, sure, there's a ton of them going over there. I still don't want Starfield to go over there, and it's not because of the exclusivity thing. I just don't want Colin Moriarty to be right about something. But outside of that, I think, if Hellblade goes over there, since the first one was already over there, I have no issue with it. I have no issue with any of the Xbox games going over there because it's not taking them out of my library on my Xbox. It's not taking them out of Game Pass, so I still have access to them, day and date, or even early if I choose to do the upgrades and things like that. So I see this as a win for gamers in general, but if it means that we get more funding for the studios or, less likelihood of a studio closure. I mean, I'm still a little, upset about the whole Tango Gameworks situation. Hi-Fi Rush went over there, didn't sell any better over there. And, no more Tango Game. Well, there is a Tango Gameworks, but it's not under, Microsoft's or under Bethesda's, header anymore. But, things like this, if it means we get sequels as opposed to having to rely on remasters to get the sequels, I would say this is probably the better way to go, in all honesty. But
all this doesn't expose those who didn't grow up in our time. In our time, we just gained. You see what I'm saying? We owned everything. We gained. We had fun. If a buddy didn't have, let's say, Boom lived across the street from me, and he had the OG Xbox, and I just had the PS2. I go over there and pull up his house and play it. Like that's how it was. Though that joy of play, though, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from the industry right now in terms of where it's heading, where everybody says access, and I'm okay with that because that was where gaming was just not toxic. It was just fun. You just have fun where you want to have fun with where your friends were. That's it.
Yeah, you can focus
Indeed.
on the games more so than the plastic
Yes.
boxes at that point. So, and that's what we're here for. That's the hobby. So,
Yeah.
Well, listen, this has been a great show. 90 plus minutes, folks. Not only did we have Fuzzy, who's a regular on Breakfast, we had 3 amazing guests. Now, Paris Lily had to bounce because obviously it's Valentine's Day. He's hanging out with his family. He's hanging out, doing some stuff there. So shout out to Paris Lily for taking the time to hang out. Love the work that he does on his own YouTube channel, which, by the way, is already crossed 24,000 subscribers, and that's freaking amazing. And it's well worth it because he does put in the work. He is industry connected. And listen, you may not like what he says, but he's not doing it to troll people. He does it because he knows the business. So shout out to Paris for jumping in here. We'll get everyone out of here. Let me just catch up on super chats. And you can enjoy the rest of course, your Valentine's Day. It's a holiday weekend, folks. Avowed is available. You're going to get a chance to spend a lot of time playing this. I was up to nearly 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm recording footage, and I'm already working on Monday's show, Fuzzy, as you can imagine. Literally, as this show is going on, I'm working on Monday's show. We have a lot to get into, but let me just catch up on super chats, and we have here John Gracie. Well, John, first of all, brother, thank you so much for the generosity. We appreciate you checking out the show. He says, I am not an RPG fan, but I am having a lot of fun. Some people don't know how to be happy and stop being negative. And it's a beautiful sentiment. Again, I said this yesterday. I know there are a lot of people that are very upset with the Metacritic score. Don't allow that to ruin your fun. Don't let those negative people who are being negative and being disingenuous just for clicks, likes, and subs to yuck your yum. This game's amazing. Find out for yourself. That's all I can say. Nino Vistic, our generous friend all the way from Hawaii. Aloha to you and the family, as we always like to say here. And he has done something that he's been doing pretty much almost every time we do a live stream. He has gifted, ladies and gentlemen, 1 Double Barrel Gaming membership. And please, if you did get that gaming membership, consider hanging around, because obviously we do a lot of community-based work with these super chats. We do a lot of amazing giveaways, which of course we are plotting the course for the second half of the year. As you know, you guys and gals know, we are saving for our first home, and we're trying to balance both to give as much as we can, but also not take away from our little nest egg, where when the market is right, we're gonna pounce. And again, please, if you got the sub, thank this man. We definitely appreciate it. Julia in the chat, who's been a channel member for a whopping 41 months.
Wow.
Well, yeah, 41 months is bonkers. So thank you for the support. They didn't even say anything. They're just, hey, I'm here. Well, thank you so much for the generosity and support. We unbelievably appreciate it. Lastly, Fires71 drops a very generous $10 super chat. Fires, welcome to the program, and thank you so much for the generosity. He says, quick shout out to Double Barrel Gaming crew for keeping it real and getting me through the workday, brothers. Well, that's awesome. I love hearing that, which is why I've been, cutting these shows down and making videos. And there's nothing, additionally being added to it. What I've done and what I've gotten the really, really amazing feedback from this community is a lot of the people are busy in their lives, whether it be school, whether it be a job, whether it be home with the kids. They don't have the time to sit and listen to a 90-minute, 2-hour show. They appreciate these smaller topics that they want to talk about being broken down into more digestible content. And it's done wonders for the channel in regards to the subs, but more so for the views, as we've already are on the cusp of hitting 7.2 million views in 7 years, which is just bonkers. And obviously that's thanks to you fine folks. But BitCloud Gaming, I want to sell your channel and of course your content. And I said in the opening, you have been killing it with your videos. You've been earnest, you've been honest, you've been fair, and you're calling people to the carpet. And I appreciate that about your content. Sell the brand, kind sir. Where could people subscribe to BitCloud Gaming, and more importantly, follow you on social media?
Well, like always a pleasure hanging out with my brother Boom, and of course the panel. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Paris pulling up. Umbra, let's talk to you. Yeah, no, I think we're 9 subs away from another milestone on the channel. So if you guys want to help me out here in the chat,
Please drop your link in there. I just added your link to the show notes along with Paris, because obviously you guys are hanging out with us. Please, by all means, if you got the link, drop it in there, folks. He's 9 subs away, and we got over, let's say right now, we have 813 people watching, 526 on YouTube, and we have 285 on X. I mean, listen, we're all about pushing other people's content. That's the point of being a creator, is to help others. That's what we strive to do here on Double Barrel Gaming. So I'm asking you, fine folks, as a creator that you come and take the time to hang out with, sub this man. Let's get him to this milestone. He needs 9, not 90, but 9. 9 people in this amazing chat could help him out. Drop the link, brother, and let's get you to that milestone.
Yes, sir. Just put it in the chat there. It's one of my videos. It's for the state of play, but you guys can subscribe on the channel if you guys like the video. I urge you to watch the video, though. Let me see if I earned your sub, though, if you guys like that. But shout out to everybody in the chat, though. I do appreciate it. Of course, Boom, always cool to come through and talk gaming. Hopefully I can make it next week. We'll see if I can make it next week for you guys as well. But yeah, no, enjoy your weekend. Like I've been saying with this awesome dude up top here, his channel, things are changing. Industry is changing around us. Embrace gaming, man. Don't let the bad apple spoil, what you love about,
Indeed.
This particular industry. If you love this industry, if you find this industry rewarding in many ways in terms of gaming, in terms of just innovation, then make no mistake about it. Go and, go enjoy your games. Doesn't matter where you play. Doesn't matter who you see talking about these games in Twitter Spaces or whatever the case may be, console war. That stuff don't matter, man. What matters is you and how you feel about what your purchase and in terms of what you want to do. So there are options. That's the thing you guys need to be happy for and be excited for the future. There are options. That's something we did not have a lot of when it came to this. And I'm not trying to just say, I'm not saying that to sell you the PC. I'm not saying that to sell you to another brand. No, I'm just saying you have different options to play your games. You have different ways to experience your games. You have a multitude of ways to get into something and not miss out on anything. That's what I'm telling you. And that's what the future is. The future is not exclusives, ladies and gentlemen. And it's being painfully put into our minds now. It's not exclusive. Exclusivity is going away. So expect a lot of weird channels that you see that probably annoy you to go bye-bye soon because they got nothing else to go. But until then, we'll celebrate when that day happens. But until then, we're just going to enjoy gaming. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoy the holiday. Me, I got to be with my family today, gender reveal for my niece. So it's her first child. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be great. Thank you for sharing that. And folks, obviously, we hope you have an amazing time with your family, as you should, on Valentine's Day. Infinite Umbra. Brother, let's sell the brand of the fix. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the show that happens Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Chi-Town time if you're in that region of the world. Him and Daniel J. McGee break it down. They talk about pop culture. They talk about wrestling. They talk about everything, including the MCU. And we have a new film that just released. Obviously, Sam Wilson, Captain America. Brave New World. I cannot wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. I love Anthony Mackie as an actor, and I love him even better as, of course, the new Captain America. Brother, sell the brand. Where could people not only check out your YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and follow you on social media?
Yeah, just to say, again, shout out to Big Cloud, shout out to Fuzzy, shout out to Paris. Shout out to you, Boom, for having me on and seeing you massacre those bears the way you did. It inspired me because I'm definitely going to get some time in after this. And this is me coming from work and having no rest till bear slaying. Not no rest till Brooklyn.
As those troublesome bears should be put down, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there you go. They had way too much honey on. They say chip on the dip. They had too much honey on their, I don't know, leaf or something or whatever. They got to go. But yeah, yeah, thanks for having me, man. I always love to come through. Shout out to the chat. Thank you all for the love too. I still remember that time I came through and everybody's like, "Oh, Umbra." I'm like, "Hey, I feel good. I feel like a celebrity. I like that energy. Keep giving me that. Appreciate you guys. I put my link in the chat if for those who may not have subscribed to me and Danny. Come by Thursdays, as Boom pointed out, at 8 o'clock Eastern. For the fix. We have something coming up soon, not soon, but relatively soon. After I would say maybe 2 weeks after, well, 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks to maybe 3 weeks from now, after we've had time to all go through Avowed, we're going to do a roundtable discussion as I've done with other games on the channel. So it'll be myself, Danny, Lucius, who you had on the other day, Boom, Slow Mo Backslap. I'm sure you all know him. And possibly One Bad Mother. So
what a panel. What
Yeah.
a panel, brother.
Yeah.
That's great.
And anybody else that might want to join in, might be Kay, I don't know, I'm sure. Whoever, if they finish it in time and want to jump on. So this should be a good discussion. I mean, Fuzzy, by the way, I'm saying this, if you ever hear that and you like, hey, I want to jump in at it too, you always welcome, of course. Fuzzy, like, you didn't ask me. I don't volunteering. I hear you, Fuzzy. I get it.
Appreciate it.
No doubt. But yeah, so we're going to try to do that eventually as well and have a full roundtable spoiler discussion. So I don't want anybody, hey, you spoiled it. I didn't know that the bear would turn to crystals. I don't want to hear it. So we're going to have that. Come by and enjoy some time with us. And the link is in the chat. So I hope you guys come and sub to us and come by sometime on Thursday. Shout out to those who do support us. Appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much for being here and being a guest on today's show. And you pretty much are obviously anytime you want to jump on, especially when there are big topics to get into, like Avowed, you're always welcome. But you're also a member of the Xbox Factor podcast on Tuesdays with myself, you, and of course Jamie Moran. And we've been having a lot of fun there. A 90-minute show gives you the best of Xbox with no toxicity. And we have a lot of fun because we are Xbox fans. And lastly, well, certainly not leastly, we have the best bald head in the business, Fuzzy Belvedere. And you know something? As we're trying to get Fuzzy to 1K on his YouTube channel, it's not just his channel we're selling, folks. Of course, as you know, and I've said it before, his channel, best place for anything and everything in the racing genre. And if you want to know about Gran Turismo 7, you want to know about Forza Motorsport, or even Forza Horizon 5 and how many cars he got this week, you can tune in there. But his wife also has a horror podcast on Fridays called Fright Night with Ferocious Fee. We'd like you to sell both brands. Tell them where they can subscribe to those YouTube channels. But more importantly, follow you both on social media.
Oh, just want to start off by thanking you for having me on. It was awesome being on here with Paris and BitCloud and Umbra. Greatly appreciate having you guys chime in and give your thoughts on the industry and everything related to gaming. And thanks to everybody in the chat for interacting with us. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate it. Those that want to hear any of my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just do a search on social media for Fuzzy Belvedere or Fuzzy_Belvedere. You'll be able to find me pretty much every.
Oh, I thought that was me as well.
Oh, you
think he bought
froze.
Yeah, he froze.
I'm one sub away. Oh,
there you go.
What's the milestone for you, Big Cloud?
10.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can. Now you're back.
Go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. No, but for.
Okay, went right back to the pot again.
Did you hear about like where I said just find me on social media, Fuzzy?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we heard that. Then
Why
it's like
is
you
this
just like
acting up?
it
All
just froze afterwards.
All right,
it's
the link is in
working
the chat for my wife's podcast. If you're a horror fan, next Friday, Humane is going to be the movie we discussed. There's no podcast this evening at 6 p.m. Check us out next Friday at 6 p.m. for Humane. Is the movie from 2024. You can find it on Prime Video or on Hulu. So for horror fans, check out the podcast. Link is in the chat, and enjoy time with friends and family. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. get some gaming in, enjoy your weekend, and check you all out next Monday for Xbox Lunch Break Special at 12 noon. See you guys there.
Thank you, brother. Super appreciate it. And once again, let me just catch up. A couple super chats popped in on the back end. We have here Day Reezy drops a very generous $5 super chat. It says, Avowed is here. It's Friday. It's the weekend. It's payday. It's my birthday. Well, happy freaking birthday to Day Reezy. And of course, he's giving us gifts, and it's his birthday. He should be getting the gifts. Thank you so much, Day. Super appreciate it. He says, let's go. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Wow, that is awesome. You celebrate not only Happy Valentine's Day, but a birthday on the same day. You are a lucky man, kind sir.
Boom.
Thank you
The
so
only
much.
way to reward Day Reezy is to sing Stevie Wonder's Happy Birthday rendition to him. Go ahead, Boom.
Unfortunately, I do not. I refuse to do that because I want people to still stay subbed. So there you go. But listen,
happy birthday, Day Reezy. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Day Reezy. Appreciate the generosity and you always being here. And lastly, Ducato, generous friend of the program and a big part of this community. He has gifted, ladies and gentlemen, 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. That is crazy kind of you and very generous, Ducato. We definitely appreciate that. And listen, again, a big thank you to everyone in the chat for being here. We had over 800 people watching live, which is amazing. If you like the show, please hit the like button. If you are not already subscribed, please. We are on the hunt for 16K, and we are 261 away, something like that. Folks, help us get there. It'd be a really big deal to hit that number, to kind of start off 2025 in a big way. And of course, if you're not subscribed, check us out. We do this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and we even have breaking news segments. And, sometimes I just feel like streaming and I jump on and give you an extra show, like yesterday when I did the review, my live review of Avowed. And, well, of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.